Hi everybody, welcome back to another brand new episode of Takeaway Tip Tuesday. I am your host, Ramona Remisat, intuitive guidance expert, speaker, and co-author of 2 Amazon bestsellers, 365 Days of Angel Prayers and 365 Ways to Connect with Your Soul. And welcome back. It is Tuesday, February 20th. Already we have Pam on. Hi, Pam. So great to see you here. As people are coming in, feel free to share who's on, where you're from. I always love to see where everybody's watching from, so that's awesome. So I hope you all had a great long weekend over here. I know my friends down in the States, you guys all just had President's Day. We just had Family Day yesterday. So we were actually away this weekend out in the mountains in beautiful Radium Hot Springs, British Columbia. Had some fun with the family, did some cross-country skiing, did some skating out on the lake, which was amazing because we were surrounded by mountains. It was the best place for ice skating. And I also had some great meetings out while I was there because that is the location of my retreat in June called Connect to the Power Within. So I had one of the meetings I had was with Yolanda, the owner of Earth Gems, the lovely crystal store that we're going to be going to as part of the retreat. And I picked up a brand new sparkly, so if you can see that. That's an aquamarine, and I'm very excited about this new piece in my collection. So yeah, it was a great weekend. Still very, very cold here. And you know, we've been watching Winter Olympics and cheering on Team Canada, but yeah, it's going to be a long time until we see any hints of spring. So I'm channeling spring with this beautiful green forest and my spring colors on my shirt, and we will, you know, try to ignore everything that's going on out the window. But anyhow, thank you again for tuning in. I have a new topic today for you, and it's an important topic because it's actually something I've had so many conversations with people about, and it comes up in readings almost all the time. And I just wanted to kind of clarify it and kind of help people out. And what I'm talking about is trusting your inner guidance, right? That seems to be the trickiest part of this whole inner guidance thing. People are not bad. They get how to kind of access it or tap into it. Then they get pretty good at deciphering it, and yet even though they are picking up on it, they're just not taking action or trusting it enough to take action. So I want to explain why that happens and kind of clarify that for you. And then once you know why that's happening, then you can take steps to fix it. So hopefully that sounds cool for you guys. But just, I know I can't say by show of hands because I can't see you. So I'm going to ask a couple questions. And if any of these situations applies to you or has applied to you in the past, I would love for you just to type yes or me in the comment box. Okay, so I'm going to read out a couple scenarios. So have any of you ever had that little voice in your head kind of warn you that maybe this job or a partnership or a business opportunity, hi Janice, nice to see you here, or a business opportunity just, there was something about that maybe was not on the up and up. So if you've ever experienced that where this little voice was like, better take a closer look at this job or this business opportunity, go ahead and type me or yes in the comment box there. Or maybe you had some red flags that went up in terms of a relationship, right? That again could be a romantic relationship, it could be a business relationship, it could even be something going on with friends or family, right? So if you've ever experienced that kind of a situation, feel free. Janice is saying definitely yes. Yeah, don't be shy, guys. Pam's saying yes. Okay. Anybody ever have a situation where a place just didn't feel right? Might be a home that you were thinking about purchasing, or maybe a workspace, that you were considering to rent. And that just kind of left you feeling a little bit funny about that. Anybody have that situation? Go ahead and type yes or me in the box. And now I want you to tell me the truth if you ever ignored that voice or those red flags and you went ahead and did something anyway. So maybe you took that job, or you signed that partnership, or you moved into that home, or you continued to date that person, even though there was something about that felt off to you, or like I said, the radar was going off, and then you had that situation turn around and bite you in the ass, for lack of a better term. Oh yeah, okay. Well guys, guess what? I'm right there with you, okay? Yeah, I'm admitting it. Even though I know this, I teach this, I breathe it, I'm still a human, and we're not perfect. We still make those mistakes, even though really there are no such things as mistakes, right? They're all learning experiences, but we've all done that. But people are like, why did I do that to myself? Like, I knew I had that guidance. Why did I not listen to it, right? And this comes up a lot in readings too, because after the, I've shared with these people a full hour of guidance and messages that are coming through for them. And often at the end of that reading, they'll sit there and they'll be like, yeah, I kind of knew that. And I say, I know you knew that, but did you trust that? Did you trust it enough to take action on it? And then they're kind of sheepish and they're like, no, right? And I'm like, I know, right? So again, they're like, I knew that. I felt like that was guidance coming through, but I just didn't feel like I could trust it enough to take an action step. So why the heck do we do that to ourselves? Well, the answer is, if I had to really encapsulate it, it's why we do anything in life. It's because of our early childhood programming, right? And it's the decisions that we kind of made about things, even though our brain was not sufficiently mature enough to make those decisions, or those to really, have a well-rounded place to what's the word I want to say, to really, formulate an idea or a concept. So I'm going to give you a real life example to really make this a lot easier for you to understand. So imagine that you're a mom and you're walking with your toddler and you bump into somebody on the street, right? And your toddler, rather than, wanting to interact with this person, is kind of cowering behind your legs, right? And they're just like, no, I don't want to talk to that person, mommy, and you're like, oh, come say hi to Mrs. So-and-so, and they're like, right? So another example might be, as a mom, you maybe were with, again, your toddler, your young child, and you needed to go into a certain building or an office or something of that nature, and again, your child just almost like stopped dead in their tracks and was like, I don't want to go in there. And you're like, come on, stop being so silly, and you're kind of pulling them, like, let's go, stop being so silly, you keep saying. And that kid is like, no. And the same thing, like, come say hi to Mrs. So-and-so. Don't be so silly. Just say hi. And you're like, right? Well, what that child is hearing in these instances over and over again is, stop being so silly. Stop being so silly. Stop being so silly. So as they start to grow up, they are hearing that, these little nudges and feelings and gut instincts and red flags that I'm picking up on aren't to be trusted, because mommy is saying, stop being so silly, right? Kids are highly intuitive. They have not been taught yet to turn that switch off, right? We all have the capacity to receive guidance clearly, but as we grow up, we kind of stop listening, and eventually we kind of turn that switch off. Right? So we grow up, we get into our teens and our early adulthood feeling like we can't trust that those intuitive thoughts, feelings, ideas, and knowingness about things, because it must not be right if the adults in our lives are telling us that it's not something to be listened to. Is that making sense for you guys? Type in, let me know if you have some feedback or comments. And by the way, if you have ever done that to your child, please don't feel bad, because that's not what this is about, right? We all make parenting mistakes. There's no manual for those kids, right? So we've all done things that we wish we could turn back time and kind of go back and have a redo on. But I'm not bringing this up for you to, feel bad about yourself or to feel guilty about anything. I just wanted to give you an illustration of how this can kind of happen to us, right, as we grow up. And I probably did some of that to my own children, so hopefully now I can kind of do some backpedaling a little bit with that. But so you can see, as we hear this, as we grow up, we start to realize, maybe that's not accurate. So why would I listen to that, right? Happened to you as a child. They are great, but this did happen to me. Yeah, so there you go, right? So now, here's the thing though. So now we know where this came from, right? This mistrust or this doubting of our inner guidance. We know where it came from. We realize that's not any kind of a concept that we consciously chose. It was kind of ingrained in us or programmed in us. So now knowing that, that means we can kind of be like, that doesn't serve me anymore. So that isn't even my belief about it. So you can let go of that, almost like clear off the hard drive, right? Clean it out and reprogram yourself with new and more positive and productive thoughts and ideas around inner guidance, right? We can recognize that when we pick up on that guidance, it's coming to us from a place of complete and pure love and support. Remember that your entire spiritual team knows your path and your purpose, and their whole job is to help you fulfill it, right? So if they see you straying, they're like sheep herd dogs, right? They see you straying off the path, they're like, where does she think she's going? And they run around, they kind of nip at your heels, and that's where you might feel intuitively nudged to move in a new direction. You're just like, I don't really know what that direction, sometimes you're like, I don't know what direction that is, but I just know it's not over here, right? And you start to feel pulled in going into a different direction, and that's them doing that work. It's like when I do readings, sometimes I see it as like hands in the small of your back, kind of nudging you, like, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, over here, right? And that's where we pick those feelings up. So knowing that that's coming from a place of pure love, pure support, somebody who wants only for you to fulfill your true purpose in this lifetime, then it's much easier for us to have that level of trust, like, okay, it's okay for me to receive this guidance, it's safe for me to receive this guidance, and it's okay for me to take action on it, because that's what their job is. Like I said, they're sheepdogs. They're like sheep herding dogs. They're trying to keep you on your path and on your purpose, right? And recognizing that it's a great comforting feeling. It's knowing again that you never walk alone, right? You feel very comforted in that. You're like, I have somebody all the time at my back, watching out for me, making sure I'm kind of going in the right direction. And all I have to do is be smart enough to pick up on that guidance and walk it out, right? So again, if we question it, if we don't trust it, we're not going to take action on it. And instead, what usually ends up happening is what we're taking action on is all the stuff up here, right? The stuff that our head is telling us, that all kinds of outside influences are telling us. And instead of staying on our path and our purpose, we sometimes go off on these crazy detours that are going God knows where. And inevitably what ends up happening is we have to do this big circle back. We went way over here, we took a lot of extra time and a lot of extra energy. And at the end of the day, we had to kind of come back and start one again, when we could have just done it right the first time. But again, there's some lessons in that, and that's okay. Like we said at the beginning, we've all kind of done that, where we ignored the guidance and we charged forward anyway, and we learned something about that, and next time, hopefully, we do things a lot better. But life is a lot easier when you're putting your time and energy into what you're being guided to do versus all the other stuff. And if you can kind of block out the other things, then it's a time saver for sure, right? You go a lot further, and you get there a lot faster, my friends. That's what it's all about. So that's why we want to be able to trust our inner guidance and not question it and not be like, well, that doesn't make sense. And, it's okay to not always know why, right? It's like, again, it kind of comes back to that child thing, right? Where the child wants to know why, especially my kids. They want to see the double-blind studies on everything, right? I can't just say eat your fruits and vegetables. They want to be like, well, what's the back science behind that? And show me the study and this and that and the other. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, right? It's exhausting. But when you understand where this guidance is coming from, you don't have to get into the why. You can trust it fully and take those action steps. And even if it doesn't make sense, I encourage you to just walk it out anyway, right? Most of the time you have nothing to lose and a heck of a lot to gain So, if you're getting guidance to pick up the phone and call somebody, even though you're like, I don't know, why would I call them? I haven't talked to them in a long time. Just do it. Maybe they're going to say, hey, I've been thinking about you, and you know what? Remember how you told me you were looking for a new job? I just talked to somebody else, and they were sharing with me about what they're looking for, and I think you guys would be a great fit. Bing, bang, boom, ta-da, there you go. The universe is connecting the dots, right? So it's those kinds of things. But if you don't take that action step because you're like, well, maybe you're worried about how you're going to look or feel foolish or whatever, well, the universe can only get you so far. The rest is going to be up to you. It's your legwork. And they always show me that, relay race, running a relay race, right? At times, your spiritual team is doing a lap, but then there are times when it's your turn to run your lap and you have to take action, right? So that's how this whole thing works. The universe can do so much. You can do so much. You neither can get there all the way, but when you work together, wow, that is when magical things can happen and do happen and happen easily. You know what I'm saying? It's not a struggle. It's not the strike. So yeah, being able to trust your guidance and take action on that is when people explain their lives like, wow, things are just working out for me. Like the right people are showing up and I've got all these opportunities that are coming out of the woodwork, and wow, the money is there to help me with what I'm trying to do, and it doesn't feel like it's work. And that's the whole point of this, right? That's the whole point. You don't want it to feel like work. You want to do life the easier way. Like, you have a guidance system. It's like driving. Would you rather drive without a map and try to just figure it out and make a whole bunch of wrong turns and get really frustrated and be like 6 hours late? Or would you rather follow your GPS and get there 5 minutes early? You know what I'm saying? That's the choice that you have. So I hope this feels helpful. Let me know, guys. Just give me a thumbs up or some hearts, or just let me know if this is resonating with you, if that's making sense. But like I said, knowing why we don't follow our guidance, and know that that was kind of coming to us from parents or adults in our lives who kind of set us up with this belief that it's not to be trusted. Oh, good. I'm getting some hearts. Thank you. And then some thumbs up. Thank you. Know that that again was not your belief. That came from somebody else. And now it's up to you. You can choose to think and believe differently. And to know that when you ask for guidance, it's always, always, always given. And then it's up to you now to put your antenna up and tune into that guidance, trust it, and take action. And I get it, it's still, it sounds really easy, and it is easy, but it's in the execution, because we're humans and we do trip ourselves up, right? So I'm really wanting to help people understand these steps of accessing it and deciphering it and trusting it. And that's actually why I'm hosting that retreat that I mentioned earlier that I'm doing in June. And it is called Connect to the Power Within, because it's in us already. It's not really any great, thing that is only bequeathed to certain people. It's already there. We just have to kind of turn that switch back on, like I said. So if this is the time that this is really making sense to you, and you're like, this would be so much help in my life, or if you have a business and this could really help me to really, make confident, strong decisions easily, not getting all into the turmoil of it and the agony of making, is this the right choice or the wrong choice? Or if you really want to be able to take that action in your life or business without fear and without the overwhelm and without the what ifs, you can do that. You can do that when you work from a place of inner guidance. And if that's a muscle that you're ready to strengthen and you really want to hone that, then I would love to have you join us on the retreat. And you can get more information at www.connecttothepowerwithin.com. I should mention that the information on that page is all in Canadian. So if you're in the States or somewhere else and you're considering coming and you're like, this really speaks to me, you're going to get a bigger savings. It's already really reasonable, but you're going to get even bigger savings. So I just wanted to mention that because it doesn't spell it out specifically on the page. So go have a look. If it's speaking to you at all, please reach out and, register, but don't wait, because we only have 7 seats left. And I've got a bunch more women that are just checking their schedules and checking a couple of things to see if it's going to, work out, but they're highly interested in joining as well. So I don't want you to miss out if it's really speaking to you and really calling to you. And if you have any questions at all, you can post right here. You can send me a private message. If you want to know anything, about the food, about the venue, about what we'll cover, any of the bonuses that I'm including, anything at all, feel free to please reach out and I can answer all of your questions. I'd be happy to do that. So I'm going to wrap things up today, guys. So I've taken up some